Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today we are talking about Numbers chapter 11. If today is your first day watching one of my videos, I cover one chapter of the Bible each day. We did start with the first chapter of Genesis and have worked our way through. You can join us at any point or you can go back to the beginning. As I've been mentioning, I am going to start transitioning my videos over to YouTube. So this will probably be the last week that I actually post my video here. Instead, I will be posting the YouTube link where you can go to YouTube and watch. That way all the videos will be saved. Okay, so Numbers chapter 11, we have a whole lot of complaining going on. We see in this chapter that the Israelites are complaining to Moses about lots of different things. As a matter of fact, in my Bible, it gives me a list. Let me show you here. It has a chart dedicated to Israel's complaining. So let's talk about a few of the things they were complaining about. They were complaining about their hardship, about the lack of meat. So up until this point, God had been providing food. Every evening, he would let manna, which was kind of like, I guess, kind of like a bread, fall from heaven, and they had what they needed to live on. But they started complaining about this, and they're like, we want meat. We want the food that we had back in Egypt. So they were complaining about that. They were complaining about being stuck in the wilderness, facing the giants of the promised land, and they were wanting to go back to Egypt. They complained about Moses's and Aaron's authority and leadership. They complained that Moses and Aaron caused the deaths of Korah and his co-conspirators. They were complaining about a lack of water and that God and Moses brought them into the wilderness to die. So they were complaining about a lot of things. And Moses really started to get aggravated about this. He got aggravated, and at the beginning of the chapter, we see where God got angry. He was just angry with the fact that they were ungrateful. And at the beginning, you can see in verses, the first verse, it says, soon the people began to complain about their hardship, and the Lord heard everything they said. Then the Lord's anger blazed against them, and he sent a fire to rage among them, and he destroyed some of the people in the outskirts of the camp. So Moses is frustrated, the people are complaining, and God is angry. One of my footnotes talks about dissatisfaction, and it says dissatisfaction comes when our attention shifts from what we have to what we don't have. The people of Israel didn't seem to notice what God was doing for them. He was setting them free, making them a nation, and giving them a new land because they were so wrapped up in what God wasn't doing for them, they complained. They could think of nothing but the delicious Egyptian food they had left behind. Somehow they forgot the brutal whip of Egyptian slavery and that was the cost of eating that food. Before we judge the Israelites too harshly, it's helpful to think about what occupies our attention most of the time. Are we grateful for what God has given us, or are we always thinking about what we would like to have? We should not allow our unfulfilled desires to cause us to forget God's gifts of life, food, health, work, family, and friends. So at the end of the chapter, we do see that God sends the people meat in the form of quail. It says that he sent a wind that brought quail from the sea and let them fall all around the camp. For miles in every direction, there were quail flying about 3 feet above the ground. Now, the people they wanted this quail and wanted meat so bad that they were basically gorging or just over consuming this. Because of that, it says in verse 33, but while they were gorging themselves on the meat, while it was still in their mouths, the anger of the Lord blazed against the people, and he struck them with a severe plague. So that place was called Kibroth Hattaavah, which means graves of gluttony, because they buried the people who have craved meat from Egypt. From that place, the Israelites traveled to Hazeroth, where they stayed for some time. So today's chapter is a little negative. We have a lot of complaining. We have the Lord who is mad. We have Moses who is aggravated. We have people who want meat, and when they get the meat, they overindulge. And we have God basically punishing them for that. So that is Numbers chapter 11. Thank you guys for watching today. We'll talk about Numbers chapter 12 next time.